Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbishesha Shunnavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Sri Caitanya Caritamrta, we are reading from Sri Caitanya Caritamrta Adi Lila, first chapter, text 20. Gronther arambhe kori mongolacharon, Guru Vaishnav Bhagavan tinero smaran. In the beginning of this narration, simply by remembering the spiritual master, the devotees of the Lord, and the personality of Godhead, I have invoked their benedictions. Tiner sharone hoy bighna binashon, anayase hoy nijo banchita puran. Such remembrance destroys all difficulties and very easily enables one to fulfill his own desires. She mongolacharan hoy trividha prakar, bostu nirdesh ashirvad namaskar. The invocation involves three processes: defining the objective, offering benedictions, and offering obeisances. Prothom dui shloke ishto devo namaskar, samanna bishesh rupe duito prakar. The first two verses offer respectful obeisances, generally and specifically to the Lord, who is the object of worship. তৃতীয় শ্লোকেতে করি বস্তুর নির্দেশ, যাহা হইতে জানি পর তত্ত্বের উদ্দেশ. In the third verse, I indicate the absolute truth, who is the ultimate substance. With such a description, one can visualize the supreme truth. চতুর্থ শ্লোকেতে করি জগতে আশীর্বাদ, সর্বত্র মাগিয়ে কৃষ্ণ চৈতন্য প্রসাদ. In the fourth verse, I have invoked the benediction of the Lord upon all the world, praying to Lord Chaitanya for his mercy upon all. সেই শ্লোকে কহি বাহ্যা অবতার কারণ, পঞ্চষষ্ঠ শ্লোকে করি মূল প্রয়োজন. In that verse, I have also explained the external reasons for Lord Chaitanya's incarnation. But in the fifth and sixth verses, I have explained the prime reason for his advent. এই ছয় শ্লোকে কহি চৈতন্যের তত্ত্ব, আর পঞ্চ শ্লোকে নিত্যানন্দের মহত্ব. In these 6 verses, I have described the truth about Lord Chaitanya, whereas in the next 5, I have described the glory of Lord Nityananda. আর দুই শ্লোকে অদ্বৈত তত্ত্বাখ্যান, আর এক শ্লোকে পঞ্চ তত্ত্বেরও ব্যাখ্যান. The next 2 verses describe the truth of Advaita Prabhu, and the following verse describes the Pancha Tattva, the Lord, his plenary portion, his incarnation, his energies, and his devotees. এই 14 শ্লোকে করি মঙ্গলাচরণ, তার মধ্যে কহি সব বস্তু নিরূপণ. These 14 verses therefore offer auspicious invocations and describe the supreme truth. সব শ্রোতা বৈষ্ণবেরে করি নমস্কার, এসব শ্লোকের করি অর্থ বিচার. I offer my obeisances unto all my Vaishnava readers as I begin to explain the intricacies of all these verses. সকল বৈষ্ণব শুনো করি একমন, চৈতন্য কৃষ্ণের শাস্ত্র মত নিরূপণ. I request all my Vaishnava readers to read and hear with rapt attention this narration of Sri Krishna Chaitanya as inculcated in the revealed scriptures. Purport. Lord Chaitanya is the absolute truth, Krishna himself. This is substantiated by evidence from the authentic spiritual scriptures. Sometimes people accept a man as God on the basis of their whimsical sentiments and without reference to the revealed scriptures. But the author of Sri Caitanya Caritamrta proves all his statements by citing the Shastras. Thus, he establishes that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna Guru Bhakta Shakti Avatar Prakash, Krishna ei chhay rupe kareno bilash. Lord Krishna enjoys by manifesting himself as the spiritual masters, the devotees, the diverse energies, the incarnations, and the plenary portions. They are all six in one. Ei chhay tattir kori charana bandhan, prathame samanne kori mongolacharan. I therefore worshipped the lotus feet of these six diversities of the one truth by invoking their benedictions. Bande Guru Nisha Bhakta Nisha Mishabhatarakan Tat Prakashangscha Tat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Sangakam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the spiritual masters, the devotees of the Lord's incarnations, His plenary portions, His energies, and the primeval Lord Himself, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Purport: Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has composed this Sanskrit verse for the beginning of his book, and now he will explain it in detail. He offers his respectful obeisances to the six principles of the Absolute Truth. Gurun is plural. Gurun is plural in number because anyone who gives spiritual instructions based on the revealed scriptures is accepted as a spiritual master. Although others give help in showing the way to beginners, the Guru who first initiates one with the Mahamantra is to be known as the initiator. Although others give help in showing the way to beginners, the Guru who first initiates one with the Mahamantra is to be known as the initiator, and the saints who give instructions for progressive advancement in Krishna consciousness are called instructing spiritual masters. The initiating and instructing spiritual masters are equal and identical manifestations of Krishna, although they have different dealings. Their function is to guide the conditioned souls back home, back to Godhead. Therefore, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami accepted Nityananda Prabhu and the six Goswamis in the category of Guru. Isha Bhaktan refers to the devotees of the Lord like Sri Srivas and all other such followers who are the energy of the Lord and are qualitatively non-different from Him. Ishabhatarakan refers to acharyas like Advaita Prabhu, who is an avatar of the Lord. Tat Prakashan indicates the direct manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nityananda Prabhu, and the initiating spiritual master. Tat Shakti refers to the spiritual energies of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gadadhar, Damodar, and Jagadananda belong to this category of internal energy. The six principles are differently manifested but all equally worshipable. Krishnadas Kaviraj begins by offering his obeisances unto them to teach us the method of worshipping Lord Chaitanya. The external potency of Godhead called Maya can never associate with the Lord, just as darkness cannot remain in the presence of light. Yet darkness yet darkness, being but an illusory and temporary covering of light, has no existence independent of light. মন্ত্র গুরু আর যত শিক্ষা গুরুগণ তাহারও চরণ আগে করিয়ে বন্দন. I first offer my respectful obeisances at the lotus feet of my initiating spiritual master and all my instructing spiritual masters. Purport. Srila Jiva Goswami, in his thesis Bhakti Sandarbha 202, has stated that uncontaminated devotional service is the objective of pure Vaishnavas, and that one has to execute such service in the association of other devotees. By associating with devotees of Lord Krishna, one develops a sense of Krishna consciousness and thus becomes inclined toward the loving service of the Lord. This is the process of approaching the Supreme Lord by gradual appreciation in devotional service. If one desires unalloyed devotional service, one must associate with devotees of Sri Krishna, for by such association only can a conditioned soul achieve a taste for transcendental love and thus revive his eternal relation with Godhead in a specific manifestation and in terms of the specific transcendental mellow that one has eternally inherent in him. If one develops love for Krishna by Krishna conscious activities, one can know the supreme absolute truth. But if he who tries to understand God simply by logical arguments will not succeed, nor will he get a taste for unalloyed devotion. The secret is that one must submissively listen to those who know perfectly the science of God, and one must begin the mode of service regulated by the preceptor. A devotee already attracted by the name, form, qualities, etc. of the Supreme Lord may be directed to his specific manner of devotional service. He need not waste time in approaching the Lord through logic. The expert spiritual master knows well how to engage his disciples' energy in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, and thus he engages a devotee in a specific devotional service according to his special tendency. A devotee must have only one initiating spiritual master because in the scriptures acceptance of more than one is always forbidden. A devotee must have only one initiating spiritual master because in the scriptures acceptance of more than one is always forbidden. There is no limit, however, to the number of instructing spiritual masters one may accept. Generally, a spiritual master who constantly instructs a disciple in spiritual science becomes his initiating spiritual master later on. One should always remember that a person who is reluctant to accept a spiritual master and be initiated is sure to be baffled in his endeavor to go back to Godhead. One who is not properly initiated may present himself as a great devotee, but in fact he is sure to encounter many stumbling blocks on his path of progress toward spiritual realization, with the result that he must continue his term of material existence without relief. Such a helpless person is compared to a ship without a rudder. For such a ship can never reach its destination. It is imperative, therefore, that one accept a spiritual master if he at all desires to gain the favor of the Lord. The service of the spiritual master is essential. If there is no chance to serve the spiritual master directly, a devotee should serve him by remembering his instructions. There is no difference between the spiritual master's instruction and the spiritual master himself. In his absence, therefore, his words of direction should be the pride of the disciple. If one thinks that he is above consulting anyone else, including a spiritual master, he is at once an offender at the lotus feet of the Lord. If one thinks that he is above consulting anyone else, including a spiritual master, he is at once an offender at the lotus feet of the Lord. Such an offender can never go back to Godhead. It is imperative that a serious person accept a bona fide spiritual master in terms of the Shastric injunctions. Srila Jiva Goswami advises that one not accept a spiritual master in terms of hereditary or customary social and celestial conventions. One should simply try to find a genuinely qualified spiritual master for actual advancement in spiritual understanding. Sri Rup Sri Sanatan Bhatto Raghunath Sri Jiva Gopal Bhatto Dasa Raghunath. Translation: The instructing spiritual masters are Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Bhatto Raghunath, Sri Jiva Goswami, Sri Gopal Bhatto Goswami, and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. এই ছয় গুরু শিক্ষা গুরু যে আমার তা সবার পাদপদ্মে কোটি নমস্কার. These six are my instructing spiritual masters, and therefore I offer millions of respectful obeisances unto their lotus feet. Purport: By accepting the six Goswamis as his instructing spiritual masters, the author specifically makes it clear that one should not be recognized as a Gaudiya Vaishnava if he is not obedient to him, if he is not obedient to them. ভগবানের ভক্ত যত শ্রীবাস প্রধান তা সভার পাদপদ্মে সহস্র প্রণাম. There are innumerable devotees of the Lord, of whom Srivas Thakur is the foremost. I offer my respectful obeisances thousands of times unto their lotus feet. অদ্বৈত আচার্য প্রভুর অংশ অবতার তার পাদপদ্মে কোটি প্রণতি আমার. Advaita Acharya is the Lord's partial incarnation, and therefore I offer my obeisances millions of times at his lotus feet. Nityananda Rai Prabhur Swarupa Prakash tar padapadda bando jar mui das. Srila Nityananda Ram is the plenary manifestations of the Lord, and I have been initiated by him. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto his lotus feet. গদাধর পণ্ডিতাদি প্রভুর নিজ শক্তি তা সবার চরণে মোর সহস্র প্রণতি. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the internal potencies of the Lord, of whom Sri Gadadhar Prabhu is the foremost. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu স্বয়ং ভগবান তাহার পদারবিন্দে অনন্ত প্রণাম. Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the personality of Godhead himself, and therefore I offer innumerable prostrations at his lotus feet. সাবরণে প্রভুরে করিয়া নমস্কার এই ছয় তেহ বুঝইছে করিয়া বিচার. Having offered obeisances unto the Lord and all his associates, I shall now try to explain these six diversities in one. Purport: There are many unalloyed devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all of whom are considered associates surrounding the Lord. Krishna should be worshipped with his devotees. Krishna should be worshipped with his devotees. The diverse principles are therefore the eternal paraphernalia through which the absolute truth can be approached. Hare Krishna. So today we end up here. Tomorrow we will continue after that. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Grantharaj Srimad Caitanya Caritamrta ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare Bol.